Listen up, because what you're about to hear will completely change how you see the American government. John Kiriakou spent 14 years as a CIA officer, led the team that captured one of Al-Qaeda's top leaders, and then made a decision that cost him everything. He refused to torture prisoners, but that's not why he went to prison. The CIA sent him to federal prison for 23 months because he told the American people the truth about what was happening in their name. And when he sat down with Joe Rogan, he exposed a conspiracy that goes all the way to the White House. This isn't some conspiracy theory. This is a decorated CIA officer who was offered $18 million to keep his mouth shut, who had the FBI raid his house while his children watched, and who Barack Obama's administration tried to bury with 45 years in prison. All because he wouldn't participate in torture, and then had the courage to speak out about it. What Kiriakou revealed to Rogan isn't just about waterboarding or enhanced interrogation techniques. It's about a system so corrupt that the only person who went to prison over the CIA torture program was the man who exposed it. While the people who actually tortured prisoners, who killed detainees and buried them in unmarked graves, who violated international law, they got promoted, they got rich, they got protected. John Kiriakou was born into a Greek-American family where public service was everything. In 1990, at just 25 years old, he joined the CIA with pure patriotic intentions. He wanted to serve his country. He wanted to be on the cutting edge of national security. And he got exactly what he asked for, thrown straight into Athens, Greece, which was, without exaggeration, the most dangerous CIA posting in the world. Think about that for a second. Not Baghdad, not Kabul, Athens. The American government spent more money on security in Athens than anywhere else on Earth, including Beirut. Why? Because it was crawling with terrorist groups. Revolutionary Organization 17. November had already killed the CIA station chief and 2 US defense attachés. The Greek government had this insane informal agreement. If terrorist groups didn't kill Greeks, they'd leave them alone. But Americans? Fair game. Kiriakou lived every single day knowing he could be next. They had specific protocols for everything: how they drove, where they ate, how they secured their homes. He watched colleagues die. He saw the devastating impact of terrorist attacks firsthand. This wasn't some desk job. This was life or death every single day. For over a decade, Kiriakou built his career in the shadows. He became one of the CIA's most effective officers, earning respect and climbing the ranks. Then 9/11 happened, and everything changed. The gloves came off. The CIA went into overdrive, and Kiriakou was put in charge of counter-terrorism operations in Pakistan, hunting the world's most wanted terrorists. In March 2002, after 6 weeks of hunting, Kiriakou's team finally captured Abu Zubaydah in Pakistan. At the time, they believed he was the number 3 in Al-Qaeda, one of the masterminds behind 9/11. This was huge. This was the CIA's first major victory in the war on terror. Kiriakou personally helped carry him onto the plane, not knowing where they were taking him, not knowing what would happen next. 2 months later, standing in the CIA cafeteria, a senior officer approached Kiriakou with a question that would change his life forever. Do you want to be certified in the use of enhanced interrogation techniques? Kiriakou had never heard that term before. When the officer explained what it meant, waterboarding, sleep deprivation, forcing prisoners into coffins filled with insects, chaining them to the ceiling in freezing cells, Kiriakou recognized it immediately for what it was: torture. That sounds like a torture program, he told them. It's not torture, they insisted. The Justice Department cleared it. The president signed off on it. Kiriakou had 1 hour to decide. 1 hour to choose between his career and his conscience. He went straight to a senior officer he trusted, someone who'd been at the CIA for decades. Let's call a spade, the officer told him. This is a torture program. Torture is a slippery slope. Somebody's going to go overboard and kill a prisoner. When that happens, there's going to be a congressional investigation, then a Justice Department investigation, and somebody's going to prison. Do you want it to be you? Kiriakou made his choice. He was the only one out of 14 officers who said no. The only one. The backlash was immediate. Despite having just led the capture of Abu Zubaydah, Kiriakou was passed over for promotion. The head of the Counterterrorism Center said he displayed a shocking lack of commitment to counterterrorism. They started calling him the human rights guy behind his back, and it wasn't a compliment. But here's what makes this even more insane. The torture program wasn't even working. Before the CIA took over, FBI agent Ali Soufan was getting actionable intelligence from Abu Zubaydah using traditional interrogation methods. No torture, just building rapport, offering coffee, letting him write letters to his mother. And it worked. Abu Zubaydah gave up Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the real mastermind of 9/11. He revealed al-Qaeda's entire organizational structure. He provided intelligence that saved American lives. Then the CIA took over and started torturing him. Abu Zubaydah went completely silent. The FBI begged the White House to let them take back control. When they finally did, it took months to get him talking again. Then the CIA grabbed him back and tortured him again. They waterboarded him 83 times. They locked him in a coffin for days. They poured boxes of insects on him. His heart actually stopped during one waterboarding session, and they revived him just so they could torture him more. And what intelligence did they get from all this torture? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The CIA paid 2 contract psychologists, James Mitchell and Bruce Jessen, $81 million to design this torture program. These guys had never interrogated anyone in their lives. They just reverse-engineered military survival training and convinced the CIA it would work. $81 million for a program that produced 0 actionable intelligence and destroyed America's moral standing in the world. Meanwhile, prisoners were dying. The CIA was using something called the cold cell. They'd strip you naked, chain you to the ceiling so you couldn't sit or lie down, chill the room to 50 degrees, and throw ice water on you every hour. At least 2 prisoners died from hypothermia. When they died, the CIA would just dig a hole next to the interrogation building and bury them. No report, no investigation, nothing. One cable from a secret site said a prisoner had died and asked headquarters what to do. The response? Put him on ice until we figure it out. They literally put the body in a bathtub full of ice until it started decomposing, then buried it in an unmarked grave. This was happening at the same time President Bush was looking the American people in the eye and saying, "We do not torture." It was a lie. Everyone knew it was a lie. But when Kiriakou couldn't take it anymore and decided to speak out, he became the enemy. In 2007, 3 years after leaving the CIA, Kiriakou got a call from ABC News. They'd heard he had tortured Abu Zubaydah. He agreed to an interview to set the record straight. In that interview, he said 3 things that sealed his fate. The CIA was torturing prisoners. Torture was official US government policy, not the work of rogue agents, and the president personally approved it. Within 24 hours, the CIA filed crimes charges against him. But here's where it gets really dark. The FBI investigated and found he hadn't committed any crimes. They sent his lawyer a letter declining to prosecute. Kiriakou and his wife went out to celebrate. Then Barack Obama became president and appointed John Brennan as Deputy National Security Advisor. Brennan was one of the architects of the torture program. He sent a memo to Attorney General Eric Holder with 2 words about Kiriakou: charge him. Holder wrote back saying his people didn't think Kiriakou had committed espionage. Brennan's response? Charge him anyway and make him defend himself. They charged Kiriakou with 5 counts of espionage, threatening him with 45 years in prison. 45 years for telling the truth about torture. The Justice Department spent $6 million prosecuting him. They raided his house while he was being interrogated at FBI headquarters, traumatizing his children. They froze his assets, driving him into bankruptcy. During one meeting with prosecutors, they told him, "Take this deal, Mr. Kiriakou, and you may live to meet your grandchildren." That night, Kiriakou went home and seriously contemplated suicide. His wife saved his life by refusing to leave him alone. The government's case was so weak they kept reducing the charges, from 45 years to 10 years to 8 years to 5 years. Kiriakou's legal team included 11 attorneys, 5 of whom he was paying out of his savings. They told him the government's case was garbage, but in the Eastern District of Virginia, the espionage court, his jury would be entirely CIA, FBI, and intelligence contractors. He didn't stand a chance. Finally, broken and bankrupt, Kiriakou took a plea deal for 30 months. But even that wasn't enough for them. John Brennan personally intervened to make sure Kiriakou served his time in a real prison, not a minimum security camp. They put him with mafia bosses, drug kingpins, and murderers. On his first day, 2 inmates walked into his cell. One had a swastika tattooed across his entire neck. The other had "Foot You" tattooed on his eyelids. They asked if he was a snitch, a child molester, or gay. When he said no to all 3, they told him he could sit with the Aryans in the cafeteria. The Italian mob boss across the hall took pity on him. "Why you sitting with those Nazi retards?" he asked. From that day on, Kiriakou was under the protection of the Italian mafia in federal prison. A CIA officer who refused to torture terrorists was being protected by the Gambino crime family. You can't make this up. But the CIA wasn't done with him. They tried to set him up multiple times in prison. Once, they put an Iraqi prisoner in his block and told the man that Kiriakou had called Iraq and ordered him killed. Then they told Kiriakou the same thing about the Iraqi. They were trying to get them to attack each other, which would add years to Kiriakou's sentence. When Kiriakou figured it out and confronted the Iraqi, they realized they'd both been played. Another time, the spokesman for the Taliban mysteriously showed up at the prison for just 4 days. He tried to shake Kiriakou's hand, while guards with cameras were waiting in the woods to photograph them together. Kiriakou told him if he came any closer, he'd knock him unconscious. Meanwhile, what happened to the people who actually ran the torture program? Nothing. Not a single CIA officer was prosecuted for torture. The psychologists who designed it kept their $81 million. The officers who killed prisoners got promoted. John Brennan became CIA director. Gina Haspel, who ran a torture site in Thailand and destroyed evidence of torture, became CIA director after him. The Senate torture report, released in 2014, proved everything Kiriakou said was true. It documented horrific abuses, confirmed the program produced no useful intelligence, and showed the CIA lied to Congress, the White House, and the American people about it. Senator John McCain stood on the Senate floor and said if it weren't for John Kiriakou, the American people never would have known what the CIA was doing. But Kiriakou was already in prison by then. The only person imprisoned over the CIA torture program was the whistleblower who exposed it. Since getting out of prison in 2015, Kiriakou has been trying to rebuild his life. He can't get a normal job. McDonald's, Target, Uber, they all rejected him for being a felon. The government confiscated his pension, so he'll have to work until he dies. He makes a living writing books, giving speeches, and teaching about intelligence ethics. 3 FBI agents have reached out to apologize to him. One contacted him through eBay to avoid detection, saying he'd been losing sleep for 13 years over what they did to Kiriakou. Another said the case came from the top and everyone knew it was BS. But apologies don't give him his life back. What Kiriakou exposed goes beyond just torture. It's about a deep state that operates without accountability, that can destroy anyone who challenges it, that can commit crimes and then imprison the people who expose those crimes. When he told Rogan about this, he wasn't speculating. He lived it. The CIA has a wall of files on American citizens they're not supposed to be spying on. They bug their own conference rooms when meeting with allies. They run operations on American soil against American citizens. They propagandize the American people with government-approved narratives. And if you expose any of this, they'll destroy you. Kiriakou told Rogan something that should terrify every American. We are so over-regulated, so over-criminalized in this country that the average American on the average day commits 3 felonies. So if they want to get you, they're going to get you. Think about what this means. The CIA tortured people to death, buried them in unmarked graves, and nobody went to prison. But when one man told the truth about it, they spent $6 million to put him in jail. That's not justice. That's not America. That's a police state. The torture program didn't make America safer. It made us less safe. It gave terrorist groups the greatest recruitment tool they could ask for. It destroyed our credibility with allies. It violated everything America claims to stand for. And the people responsible are still in power, still making decisions, still protecting each other. John Kiriakou sacrificed everything to tell us the truth. He lost his career, his pension, his freedom. He was labeled a traitor for being a patriot. He went to prison for refusing to torture and for having the courage to tell the American people what was being done in their name. The real criminals, the ones who tortured, who killed, who lied to Congress, who destroyed evidence, they're free. They're rich, they're powerful. Some are probably watching this video right now from their corner offices in Langley, knowing they got away with it. This isn't about politics. This isn't about left versus right. This is about whether we want to live in a country where the government can torture people to death and then imprison anyone who speaks out about it. It's about whether we believe in the Constitution or whether we're willing to let unelected bureaucrats destroy anyone who challenges their power. Kiriakou is still fighting for a presidential pardon to clear his name. He's still telling his story, still warning Americans about what their government is capable of. He told Rogan he wouldn't wish his experience on his worst enemy, but he'd do it again because someone had to tell the truth. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to let them get away with it? Are we going to pretend this didn't happen? Or are we going to demand accountability from the people who are supposed to work for us? The CIA tortured people in our name. They lied about it. They covered it up. And when one brave man exposed them, they destroyed his life. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's not speculation. That's documented fact, confirmed by the Senate, admitted by the government, proven in court. John Kiriakou is a hero who was treated like a criminal. The criminals are still free, still in power, still making decisions that affect all of us. And until that changes, until there's real accountability, none of us are safe from a government that's proven it will do anything to protect itself. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more insane stories about the 1% and the 0.01%. Go ahead and check out the videos suggested on your screen.